Hey everybody, today I'm joined by Kelly McCausey. She is a full-time solopreneur, a great friend, and a wonderful partner of mine. And she's also the owner of a successful blog network, Moms Talk Network. And that alone qualifies her, more than qualifies, I think, to talk to us today about blog statistics. Kelly, welcome.
Thanks, Lynette.
Hey, so you work a lot. You work with a lot of bloggers. So do you find that most people have a handle on your blog statistics?
No. Most people do not. I work with everything from newbies just getting started to people who have been doing it for a while to people who have been doing it for a long time. And it's kind of not at all unusual to discover that nobody has good stats installed on their blog. By good stats, I mean that they're using Google Analytics, but at most, what they know about their stats is how many visitors in a month and how many page views.
Right.
The big numbers, that's what they've looked at. When I ask them if they've taken a look at anything else, they just kind of give me a deer in the headlights stare.
So with that in mind, what other things can we learn really from our blog statistics besides that, like the big numbers that you were talking about, besides the visitors and the page views? I would to talk a lot with bloggers, and I feel that sometimes, that's all we think about.
Well, those are the exciting numbers. We want to know how many people hit our site, and the reason we want to know our page views is, did the person look at more than one thing while they were there? If we have 1,000 visitors and 1,000 page views, that means they didn't go anywhere once they got there. They just saw the one page. But if you have a blog, you hope that they've clicked around and looked at several things. So you want to see higher page views than visitors. But there's so much more that you can learn. And just to give you an example of the sort of things that I think that bloggers should know about and would know about if they spend a little time with their stats, is things like where their traffic came from.
Right.
Analytics can tell you, what websites sent you the traffic. And if you don't know where your traffic comes from, you don't know if anything that you're doing to market your blog is working. So if you've been doing some search engine optimization, you want to see lots of traffic from Google.
Right.
If you've been doing lots of social marketing, you want to see traffic from Facebook and Pinterest or wherever you've been out there promoting yourself. If you've spent a lot of time on forums and groups and promoting your blog there, you want to see traffic from them.
Right.
If you've been out there, let's say that like most bloggers, you spend a lot of time on Facebook and Pinterest and private forums where mom bloggers or any type of group of bloggers hang out. They tend to gravitate to one another. Like maybe they're a gaming blogger or a sports blogger or a business blogger. And they hang out together and they tell each other about what they're doing. And they feel like this is what I do and this is what works. Well, if they go into their stats
Right.
and take a look at where their traffic comes from and discover that there's almost nothing from Facebook, there's nothing from Pinterest, there's nothing from all those places you're hanging out. Most of your traffic comes straight from Google, organic search traffic. Then you're going to realize all that time you're spending out there is not doing what you thought it was doing.
Well, that is so important. I haven't really thought about it that way as a way to gauge whether we've been productive or not. Really, that's really the bottom line. So, what sort of surprises have you found in your own blog stats, or what kind of surprises do you find that most of us figure out when we really look at our blog stats?
Well, I want to tell you a little story about one of my earliest experiences with analytics is there's a website that I've been running for a really long time. It's not a business site. It's just a information site on a particular niche topic that I'm personally interested in, and there's the general topic of the blog,
Right.
which is faith. And there's tons and tons of content written about faith and who we are and all this. And so that website consistently grew in traffic over the years. And I'm like, people love my website and they love everything I've written, and it's so great. And then I got analytics installed. The website was originally built in HTML. Well, when I converted it to a blog, probably 2007, I converted it to a blog and I installed analytics, somewhere since then, and I was getting lots of traffic, and I was getting a lot of AdSense income from it.
Cool.
Especially in the winter, I was getting a lot of AdSense income, and I thought, wow, people must just really be interested in faith during the holidays. So I get my analytics installed, and I actually, there's two kind of analytics that I had installed. I had my basic Google Analytics, and then I had special analytics for AdSense.
Right.
That's a tool called AdSpy that tells me exactly where my clicks are coming from on my site if people click on AdSense. Well, I got that installed and set it and went about my business, and I came back to check my stats a few weeks later. And I was like one of those moments where you're like, I feel dumb, because all the traffic, now the whole blog got a certain amount of respect and traffic, but the majority of the growth in traffic and the AdSense income was coming from one page on the site, and it didn't have anything to do with faith. It was a tutorial from a ladies' night out event where we took some pictures and shared the tutorial on the web. It was where all the money and traffic was coming from, and it was one of those just bonk me on the head moments. It was such a surprise.
Wow.
To discover that. And if I never had checked the stats, if I never installed stats and seen what was happening, I would have not been able to make any decisions to build on that traffic.
Exactly.
Because I didn't know where it was coming from.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And it also brings another point too. If you have never known that was a big money page, one day you may have decided to delete it, and there would have gone the income.
Yeah. And that's very possible that I might have done that eventually, thinking, well, I'm not doing that ladies' night out anymore.
Right.
I'm focusing in a different direction. I would have wiped it out and then wondered what happened.
Exactly. That's so important. I hope everybody really caught that. So anyway, you say that knowing your stats makes SEO efforts easier. So how does that work?
Well, most bloggers, unless you are a business tech blogger, you probably started your blog without any idea of SEO, what it was, how to do it, and that's okay. Most of the time we're starting a blog for personal reasons, and then it slowly dawns on us that we might be able to make some money from it. If I say to the average blogger out there, to go do some SEO on their blog, their eyes are going to cross, and they're going to say that's just too big of a topic. Mm-hmm. And it is, starting from scratch. But if you have a blog that has had stats, activated for 6 months, as much, hopefully a year, then you can go back and look at the SEO that already exists. Whether SEO, people think SEO is this big complicated thing we do. No, it's just the words we write on the page and how we emphasize it, as far as whether it's a heading and if we entered it, there are meta tags that we don't use, if we aren't thinking about SEO. But there's just simple things that we do in our content that search engines read, and they determine what our content is about. And our stats will reveal that. When we look into our analytics and we check the search traffic and just, take a quick look at the overview, like if I go and look and see what the top referring search phrase is for one of my blogs on the network right now, it's Teach Kids to Crochet. And that was not an SEO-minded phrase. It just was a blog post about teaching your kids to crochet. Now, it was this phrase, I got to tell you, I'll tell you in a minute, but let me finish what I'm saying. If I know that the most traffic to this particular blog is coming in on the topic of Teach Kids to Crochet, I want to take a look at a couple of things. And I'm going to teach, we're talking about this because I'm going to do a workshop, the Know Your Blog Stats workshop, and I'm going to demonstrate this process that I use to take advantage, to boost my SEO from my stats. If I know that Teach Kids to Crochet is the phrase that brought the most traffic to my site from Google, the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to run over to a keyword tool, and I'm going to run that phrase through and find out, is this the biggest phrase in this little family in this topic that brings traffic to the whole world? You can go to a keyword tool and you can enter phrases, and it'll tell you other phrases, other related phrases, and it'll tell you the search, the numbers. So Teach Kids to Crochet is what brought the most traffic to me. But if I go run it through a keyword tool, I might find that teaching kids how to crochet is a better term, or a worse term, or teaching children, teaching crochet to kids. If the phrase was rephrased, if I changed a simple phrase in my content, would I tap a larger amount of search traffic?
Oh.
And I know you get this, Lynette, and some bloggers who have done a little keyword research are going, oh yeah, but if you've never done it before, don't worry if it sounds Greek, because in the workshop I'm showing you. I'll demonstrate it.
Hey, Kelly, I can't wait. I can't wait for that workshop because, even though, I've been doing this for a little while, but, it's a great refresher. I mean, you just brought something up which I'm like, oops, well, I guess I should have been doing that a little bit more.
This is something that I tackle on a quarterly basis with my blog network. Moms Talk Network, we have, I believe it's 10 blogs right now, and they're on different topics. The Teach Kids to Crochet is on crafting for kidlets, and then I have a foodie blog, and these are not topics that are. I have interns who write on my blog, and I have guest bloggers. I occasionally write something if there's something I feel like writing, but these are not my topics. These are not my niches. I've got to have the analytics telling me what to do, or I'm not going to be able to grow them.
Right, exactly. And that's so key. If you have like several blogs that are, not quite your main topic, then you really need to rely on them.
Let me adjust my report here. From October 1st to November 16th, I'm going to take a look at my stats from last year and see that there were some things that people were searching for that were seasonal enough in topic. So holiday crock-pot recipes was searched for. Recipes for apples, gluten-free ham and potato soup, pumpkin cupcakes with cream cheese frosting. These are very specific phrases that brought them to my blog last year.
You're making me hungry, Kelly.
I know it. gluten-free zucchini cake.
Mm.
People are really thinking about using the harvest produce right
Right.
now,
Right.
zucchini and apples and pumpkin. And so by looking at my stats from last year, I see what people were looking for during this season of time, and I'm going to do two things right now. I am going to, in social media, I'm going to tweet some of those great posts from last year because people are interested in this stuff right now, and the content is already written and ready to promote right this second.
All right. Oh, you just hit on a great strategy right there because, you know, I had sent out an email a couple of weeks back, I think, to our Blog Energizer members, and I was talking exactly about this. You need to tweet your old stuff.
Yes. Yeah, it was hot. It was being searched for at this exact time last year. The content won traffic before, so it can win traffic again. So give it a tweet, give it a Facebook share. If you weren't on Pinterest last year, take a look at those high traffic fall posts and decide if you should make a pin graphic for it. You know, a big beautiful graphic with your domain and a little, you know, like I might make a graphic for holiday crockpot recipes and, you know, put that on that post and go pin it. You know, that's not something I was thinking about last October. Right. So number one is do something with them in social media to give them some fresh attention. And then second, create another page of content just like it. Right. So if I did holiday crockpot recipes, if I did 10 holiday crockpot recipes last fall and it went really well, I'm going to write another blog post with 10 more holiday crockpot recipes, and I'm going to link from that new post back to the old post. And I'm going to do new post. And so hopefully I'm going to link from the new to the old and from the old to the new. So that wherever the traffic is coming from, they find about both posts. The stats have told me what people want, what has worked already, so I'm going to do it again.
And that actually is also doing a little bit for your SEO, internal linking, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and that's, I think that's what Kelly was talking about earlier, where you talked about, you know, all this SEO thing is really not that huge, not this huge, big gold thing in the sky. It's just little things like that.
Yeah. One of the things my stats showed me last year when I was doing this analytics last year was that cake batter cookies had been written about here on the blog by one of my interns a couple years ago. It gets tons of traffic.
Wow.
Cake batter cookies with cream cheese, you know, and so obviously we need to write another post about cake batter, and you know that's hot.
Oh my goodness. You know what? I'm learning so much from you. So I bet we can learn a lot more during your workshop.
Yes, I'm gonna actively demonstrate exactly what I do. There's so many. I've got so many objectives personally for doing this. I want more traffic. If I spot content, this is kind of an advanced thing. One last tip for your people is, besides what you can do with your own content and promoting, if you've spotted a page that's doing well, the next year when you're ready to give that topic some juice again, do something outside of your site to point links back to it, not just social media. Find a way, guest blog on someone else's site and use it as an excuse to link back to that page. Because if a page does well, like let's say my cake batter cookie recipe is doing really well in the search engines 2 years ago. If I do nothing to build a new link to it in 2 years, that is not going to continue to do as well, because fresh inbound links tell Google that it's still relevant, shareable information. No inbound links means it's not, and it'll start to get less traffic.
That is so good.
So I'm going to teach you how to do that, how I keep well-performing pages staying in the top rank.
And you have to do that with that network.
Yeah.
So Kelly, tell us when this workshop is and how we can get into it.
Well, you've got the link for your people.
It will be in the with this audio.
Yeah, it's this. I'm going to do this on a Saturday, October 13th. We're going to spend 2 hours in my conference room on the web, so I can demonstrate. You can watch me do things and ask me questions. You can ask me questions with text, or you can have your mic and raise your hand, and I'll let you, share your questions. And so we're going to do it that day, Saturday, October 13th. It's not a one-time workshop, though. When I create a workshop, I offer the workshop more often. So probably about once a quarter, I'm going to run the workshop again, which is perfect because it will coincide with my own analytics research.
Right.
And I'll be able to share real examples of what I'm doing and how it's working. So once you've signed up for the workshop once, it's like a lifetime membership. So you can come back to any future workshop and always have access to the recordings if you're not able to join us live.
I think that is such an excellent value. Sometimes it's not just our timing. We've got other things and we get interrupted, or we're just not quite ready. So it's always good to be able to come back and refresh and all that. So anyway, the link is LynetteSuggests.com/stats. Go there and check out Kelly's offer. Thank you so much, Kelly, for joining me today. I'm so excited.
You're welcome. It was fun.